All right, today we're working on the Volvo, possibly for the last time, and you'll see maybe at the end of this video. Basically, today we are fixing one issue that has kind of freaked me out a little bit since I bought the car. You can see right there, that lip. I mentioned it in one of my update videos. Is not supposed to look like that. It's supposed to look like the other one. And yeah, that cross member's all tweaked. We got a nice new one from Josh at YoshiFab. I'll put that right there. Thank you very much, Josh, for hooking me up with this cross member, as well as a set of his HD engine mounts for the Volvo Red Block. These things are killer. A lot of people do basically what the ghetto version of this is they'll take like hockey pucks, but he actually has cast metal plates in some heavy-duty rubber, and like way better. So I'm really excited about this, and you'll see why. So basically, it's pretty simple. We just gotta unbolt everything off of that crossmember, but wait, you might notice the engine is sitting on that crossmember, and yes it is. So first we have to take our handy dandy jack, well, engine hoist, and support the engine from the top, and then work on unbolting everything attached to that. We got control arms, steering rack, a couple brake lines in the back, and engine mounts, and that's pretty much it. We got the steering rack, I think I mentioned that. Should be pretty fun, shouldn't be too hard, we'll see. It should be a lot of fun, really. So if you watched my update video, or even maybe the original video when I got this car, you noticed the old ratchet strap here. And ratchet it is. This is basically because the engine mounts were very blown and the engine would rock too much. Previous owner put this in place just to hold the engine in place. So for the first time since I've owned this car, this, oh boy, ratchet strap is coming off. Wow, there it is. We're almost there. Yeah, it's gonna take some working to get loose, but oh, maybe not that much. Ooh, there it is. Wow, man, it's been on there so long. It's actually polished the intake in one spot. That's kind of funny. I know also the strap is pretty worn out down there. I wonder if this is gonna be even usable after this, but might be able to at least use it to lift the engine. You know, on second thought, I probably don't trust this very much. This has been under the car for a while, this half, and it's a little worn through, but also this part, that's, I don't think I trust that. I think I'm gonna use a different strap or a chain or something. Also, this is all kind of bent up. This looks like a cheap strap that somebody just kind of threw on there, but it's all right, we got other stuff. All right, so I got another strap here. We got plenty of tow straps with all these vehicles and stuff to tow. And one thing you do want to watch whenever you're strapping stuff around an engine, whether it's strapping an engine down into the bed of a car or a truck or something like that, or onto a pallet, or you know, you're trying to move it around or something, if there's accessories and such on it, you got to watch it. You're not going to be bending any tabs, anything. Make sure nothing can cut through the actual strap, because that can happen. The weight of the engine could just pull the strap right over something like a bolt head or something and just shred right through it. You also want to make sure that you're not bending or breaking anything, especially spark plugs like on that side. You're not going to pinch any lines and cut them. You really got to be careful where you're going. So I'm going around these beefy power steering bracket, and I think the alternator bracket on the other side. They're pretty thick, so I'm not worried about the strap pressing up against it. It's pretty smooth. Not worried about it cutting through. I just got to adjust my length here on the slack, and then I think we're ready. This doesn't need to be pulled up out of the air. It just needs to take the weight off the engine mounts just a bit. So I'm going to just jack it up until I see the engine start to twitch up, and then maybe like one more pump, and then I'm just gonna leave it there. All right, so I had a little bit of a change of plans again with the strap. Going underneath the engine didn't really seem to work. There was a wire there. So I've got a, basically I'm going underneath both manifolds here. I got underneath the intake manifold again, hoping to only touch rounded metal surfaces, nothing that's gonna cut through any lines or anything like that. Watch these pinch points and such. Don't want anything to break and then go to start your car when you're done and be like, why doesn't my car start? That all looks okay. And then on the other side, got it underneath the exhaust, right underneath the turbo flange basically. And it looks like it's in a good spot, not pinching any spark plugs. Shouldn't be getting hung up on any bolts, I hope. And we'll see. All right, but overall looks okay. And I'm gonna try to lift this up. I've got a little bit of tension on it now. It's just funny how much the engine moves, if you can see that. It moves quite a bit when it's being supported. You got it. That's a lot of movement, people. That's not what you want your engine to be like when it's supposed to be attached to engine mounts. So that's what we're hoping to fix here, though. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is start taking the bolts off for the steering rack. As you can see, I do have my safety glasses on because there's a lot of junk under here that could fall down in your face. And I don't feel like picking out a bunch of dirt, grime, and grease out of my eyeballs today. So safety glasses it is. Alright, so I got the other brake line clips undone. There's a couple up by the sway bar in the fender well. Got those figured out. There's one more on the other side. I will have to actually drop the crossmember just a little bit once I get these big bolts up top undone. They're captured bolts underneath, so you gotta undo them from the top. Got the jack underneath the crossmember, and gonna drop it down as soon as I undo the bolts. Here we go. All right, so we got the old crossmember out, and you can see the difference here. The new one sits flat. The steering rack sits on a flat surface there. This one side's flat, the other side is munched. You can see this is like almost like a 90-degree angle, whereas this is like a 45. Really get an idea there of really how messed up that is. Especially this front ear here is supposed to be parallel like that one. Totally messed up. Also, one thing I noticed is this looks a little pinched in right here where the control arm bolts in. So that's probably why it was a little bit tougher to squeeze out there. You know, all of this should be sitting flat, and that's how tweaked it is versus the new one sits nice and flat. So gonna get the new one in now, be driving better. All right, so I'm working on the engine mounts now. It's kind of a pain in the butt, I'll be honest. I got one on, but I wanted to show you the main culprit was that driver's side one. And well, it's in two pieces. That is supposed to be attached to that. And as you can see, it's definitely not. Yeah, that's your OEM. And this is the YoshiFab HD engine mount. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger diameter there. It's a lot stiffer. But should still be pretty comfortable. Josh was sure to design something that was livable without being too aggressive, but still nice lifetime out of it, and you know, a lot of function there. So just working on getting the other one out. It's kind of a bear, but should be in pretty soon here. All right, so got the engine mounts on. We got the crossmember in here, but nothing's really hooked up just yet. Got the rack attached. That's pretty much it. We're just trying to move everything around. There's a lot of moving. You know, you can see how the control arms move the front and the rear, and we got to jack the cross member around and everything, and just kind of play with it a little bit. So hopefully not much longer. All right, so it's been a little while, but we pretty much got everything bolted back in. The engine is now sitting squarely on its own actual mounts. No more ratchet strap, nothing. Gonna roll this out here in a second, and just gotta button up little things like the brake line little brackets there in the back, and then I'm having a little trouble bolting up this rear control arm mounting point. It's just a lot of, I got one bolt in, I just got to shove it around, get the other two in there. But overall, that, I'm not gonna lie, that was a pretty tough little project there. Took pretty much the entire latter half of the day. It is currently, 11:30, and I started 4 or 5 o'clock, something like that. So, several hours there. Definitely for sure this is not a fun thing to do. There's probably ways making it easier, depending. There's probably a balance. If you took off more stuff, it might have made it a little bit easier if I took the steering completely off, but I don't know. Remains to be seen, but it doesn't really matter now. It's almost done. Just a bunch of little bolts and then those 3 back there, and then we'll be all done. All right, so I know the last bit there was kind of stopped a little bit abruptly. Long story short, did get the Volvo finished, got everything buttoned up, and everything was working great. Basically, the car was driving better than it has since I've owned it. The alignment was better. The engine mounts were actually attached to the engine. Everything was going great. But the Volvo's gone. I actually sold it the other night, and I will really miss that car. It was a lot of fun. It was my first turbo car. It was a lot of fun. But I did make the decision that, I think maybe it's time to maybe take a step in a different direction, get something a little bit different, a little newer, a little more comfy, better as a daily driver, so I can really focus on the Nova. And that's next. I really can't wait to show you guys what's next in store, and that'll be in the next video. So I'll see you then.